To recap, when you type in election Ween, the name of our last episode, we are the top result in Google Images, closely followed by a photo of Jim Gaffigan.
Jim Gaffigan actually sponsored us through Forbes News. Eddie and I are breaking news, apparently, in the Jim Gaffigan community. What is this for? His Alfred Smith...
Yeah, the Al Smith dinner. It's
Al Smith? Alfred Al.
Yeah, it's a big dinner hosted by the Catholic priests of America, whatever, the Bishop of New York, I guess. I don't really know the specific host, but it's like all the Catholic officials are there. And traditionally, for the last, 80 years, both presidential candidates have come and given a little talk there. And, like, he was the comedian host, you know.
I see. Is he clean?
Yeah, he's clean. But,
that makes sense.
Kamala Harris skipped it this year, and he ragged her so hard for skipping because he's a very devout Catholic, and he's a big Kamala supporter. But he was like, "How could you not come to the Al Smith dinner? It's not like you need the Catholic vote, which only 60% of America." Like,
I mean, she kind of had to cash that one.
What?
The Catholic vote, like.
What do you mean?
I feel most true Catholics vote.
Yeah,
Republican.
True Catholics and Catholics are two very distinct. Catholics, I would say, is a bigger group than true Catholics.
Yeah.
You'll go, I'm a Catholic.
Well, around here, but I feel like anywhere else in the country, Catholics are voting for Republicans.
I wouldn't be so sure.
Really?
The same thing, Judaism. If you're a devout Jew, you vote conservative. Most Jews do not vote conservative.
Yeah, I guess it depends on, like...
You just Google it. Google
yeah, let's see.
Catholic voting. I bet it's...
You think it's skewed Democrat? No shot.
I bet it's close to like 50-50, would be my guess.
Results?
Did you ever see the TikTok videos where it's like, Jesus wants you to vote for Kamala? I've seen them. They almost got me.
What's percentage of Catholic, I should say?
Just Google, like, election results by religion.
I'm smelling like a fucking baboon.
Yeah, dude. I've seen videos of, like, priests in churches.
This is 2020.
That's fine. Whatever.
White evangelical voters.
That's not really... I wouldn't...
They went 81%.
I don't consider myself a white evangelical. That's pretty specific.
They went 81% Trump in 2020. In the year he lost.
We have a Catholic.
The Baden-Foth and how it compared to 2024. Former president won the 2024 election because he was gained every demographic, but did he gain religious votes? The Washington Post concluded in 2020. 2020, 47% voted Catholics, while 52% of Joe Biden.
Yeah, dude, so that's like 50-50.
In 2024, 56 voted Trump, while 41% voted for Kamala.
Okay. It's a little Trump.
She lost a lot.
But also she was an unpopular across the board
for
candidate,
sure.
It seems. So it's roughly 50-50.
I just think Catholics because abortion.
Sure, of course. But again, many people are Catholic in name only.
For sure.
Yeah, so that's
myself included.
Me too, honestly. Although I like, you know what I was learning about?
Sinner.
I was learning about something cool about Catholicism recently.
Let's hear it. There's some cool shit.
There is tons of cool shit. But still, obviously the Bible's very old, and the Old Testament even older.
Hella cool.
The view in if you take Catholicism seriously is that the way that they have chosen the books to be included in the Bible is because it's been confirmed that they've been divinely inspired. And they do there's a lot of criteria for this, where it's like, okay, the references in this are obviously point to distinct things that happened in the Old Testament, lots of things that they consider. They want to make sure it's logically coherent, all of that kind of thing. There's one exception, okay? So there used to be, in the Old Testament, this book called the Book of Enoch. And Enoch was supposed to be Enoch, Book of Enoch. I believe he was like the 7 generations away from Adam in the book.
Jewish apocalyptic text.
Yeah. Just type in Enoch genealogy. I want to see how many generations he was from. I think he's like the great-grandfather, or the grandfather of Noah.
Great-grandfather. The genealogy from Adam to Noah.
Yeah, here we go. Where's Enoch in there? Give us the genealogy from Adam to Noah. It should just be a quick list, right? He's only like the 10th.
This is like scripture that I'm reading.
Okay, whatever. Point is, he's let's just say grandfather of Noah, and he has a book.
Yeah, Noah's looks like he's 3 above him. 4, 3.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, Enoch writes a book, and around when the Dead Sea Scrolls were found. Google when the Dead Sea Scrolls were from.
When were the Dead Sea Scrolls from?
Or
the Dead
written.
Sea Scrolls were written in the 3rd century BC to the
Okay.
1st century BC. CE.
Okay, so in 100 years after Jesus' death, or when they're written, and we found these. This is the oldest versions of the Old Testament we have.
Okay.
And this is a recent big discovery, like in the 70s they found them.
Yes, they found them in the 40s, actually.
Yeah, or whatever. And then, but the point is, when they've reviewed, this is like the Dead Sea Scrolls were involved in like a small little Jewish sect, and they at the time viewed the Book of Enoch as Bible, as part of their Bible. And the Book of Enoch is full of all this crazy. It reads like Greek mythology. Basically, there are like these watchers, and the watchers come down and they have sex with the human ladies, and and their children are giants. And the reason that the flood came was to wipe out all the giants because the giants had become evil.
I see.
And the spirits of the giants are the reason that they're still evil in the world today.
Sounds like anime. Sounds
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Attack on Titans almost.
This was some of their reservations, and so it was eventually removed. People hypothesize that this is because it
was bullshit.
seemed too similar to Greek mythology, that type of thing. But here's where it gets interesting. In the New Testament, in Jude, the letters from Jude, he quotes the Book of Enoch. And so the reason that this is controversial is because they're part of the New Testament, they're supposed to be divinely inspired. And so that suggests that the Book of Enoch should also be. Because how would he be, who's being divinely inspired, reference something that is not? And he's referencing it as scripture. And so it's very
Isn't
interesting.
it kind of just more likely that it's all a little fugazi. Like there were a couple things that slipped through the cracks in a Bible that was passed down forever.
Here's the reason it's interesting is because they're so rigorous in making sure everything's logically coherent. Yeah. And I think it's less fugazi. Here's the way I think about it is like this. Up until very recently, the lines between religion and law were very, very blurry. Almost none.
Yeah. Well, recently being like
a few hundred years. Yeah, grand scheme. And so the way I interpret it is that like the various religions that stuck around, like most of Western society is like Judeo-Christian founded. And so basically Catholicism/Judaism provided a set of rules that when applied at a civilizational level lead to this kind of prosperity. Because there are lots of random tiny religions that work as the law in various tribes that are, found in the Amazon or wherever that haven't really progressed that far.
No, they're not doing too hot.
Yes. And so you could...
Well, they're doing good for them.
Sure. They're still around, so that's pretty awesome.
But when you look at us, we're kind of like, I won't say we're a failed society by any means, but...
Yeah, what, dude?
I know. But like, if you consider maybe who's, I don't want to say happier, but like ignorance is bliss kind of thing, I feel like there's some appeal to a simpler life of.
There's appeal to us that
like
have never
being
lived
Amish. If you would kind of take the middle ground there,
But even the Amish in the true sense don't really exist anymore. They all kind of use refrigerators using pneumatic technology so that they can work around.
But it's still like a simpler life for sure.
Sure, I agree. It's simpler.
Like away from like.
I heard this
technology
interview
in
of this
sense.
dude that like spends all his time in the Amazon, and he was talking to one tribal leader who they had made contact with, and they just installed like street lights in their village and stuff. And he went to the elder, and he was like, "So what? Do you ever like worry like now you can't see the stars? You're not as in touch with nature. You miss that simple life." He's like, "No, we can see at night now." What are you talking about? So I think that there is an element of people romanticize it a little bit.
Yeah.
There is a simpleness, and of course people escape to the mountains. but for sure this is better. So, like,
don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I would miss my Xbox in a heartbeat. I love that
And
episode.
you get to a point where you can create an Xbox.
Yeah.
Because you have these set of rules. And it's not exclusive to Judeo-Christianity, because the same thing was achieved in the East, sort of, by like China and them and Japan. But even they were slightly behind until we interacted with them.
Yeah, we fuck shit
If
up.
you've seen Shonen.
There's that episode of Rick
Shonen,
and Morty
right?
where
Am I saying that right? Okay.
Shogun, I think.
Shogun.
It is, yeah. Where they get trapped. They get like they go into Rick's engine to fix it, and it's like a society in there.
Yeah,
Just,
I like that episode.
It's not slavery. They work for each other.
But then he's got a bad
Yeah,
ass,
exactly.
And he's saying that to
And
the
then they end
other guy.
up crashing, and they're there for a while. And Morty like speaks to the fucking tree people, and he pulls Rick aside at one point. He's like, "Dude, we need to get the fuck out of here." He's like, "I miss my computer." He's like, "I jerked off to an extra curvy piece of driftwood yesterday." Love that one.
Yeah.
Just a really curvy piece of driftwood.
Well, that's like, you ever been, Teton Valley in Utah?
Yeah.
Well,
Or
it's
isn't it in? Yeah, I guess it's in Wyoming. And
Wyoming
Utah.
/ Utah, whatever. There's 3 mountains, and they're called the Three Tetons.
The Three Titties.
Yeah, it's 3 titties in French for the
Oh,
same reason.
Is that what Teton means?
Teton means tit.
Really?
Yes.
I
So
didn't know
like,
that.
it was French trappers came out there, and they saw these mountains, and
Oh.
boy, were they lonely.
Dude, no way. They would just jerk off to mountains?
You got to assume they're not
Yeah.
calling it tits out of respect.
I mean, dude, I guess back then, like, not to get, like, too interpersonal, but on a adult entertainment scale, technology has really come a long way from when even we were children.
Yeah.
But, like, 200, 300 years ago, like, the people weren't even that attractive. Like, you had to just, like, women and men were definitely way less attractive back then.
I think your class standing affected your attractiveness
For sure.
way more.
Well, I'm
back
thinking
then.
of this trapper who's probably, like,
Yeah.
smells like ass.
And he's hasn't seen any woman except
ever.
for maybe in the distance he saw
mom.
like some Native American woman behind all the Native American warriors trying to kill him. Like, that is the closest he got.
But, I mean, it must have been very imaginative. You had to be. Again, ignorance is bliss a little.
Yeah, a little, but I think I don't think it's ignorance. I think it's what do they call it? Like, you're not desensitized, and you can, if you go away from it for a while, you can get back to that state.
Yeah.
So it's not so much ignorance as it is just like, God, I've been just staring at all these dudes in my travel group for ages. And they're, like you said, they all smell gross and
Awful.
ugly and covered in guts.
And you're just murdering all the time, right? As a trapper, is that I guess it's literally your job. It's just
Well,
kill.
you're looking for animals, but at that time, I would imagine you're also looking to not get slaughtered by
Yeah.
the local tribes.
Or other animal looker forers.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I feel like it's just on site back then.
I don't think, because the issues you run into another trapper, maybe then if like they're English or something. Well, now it's a political issue. The French are attacking you. You know what I mean? So like there's a little bit more.
They thought about politics back then. I felt like the Wild Wild West times, you could just do whatever you want.
I think less so, but it's like
You,
if you see them, I don't think it's as much. Like, the Native Americans would just attack. They were all, like, most of them were warring nations.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it was
But
like,
versus running into another trapper. Like,
what's
hey,
a trapper?
A trapper it's like a dude that goes and, like, traps animals for their fur and stuff.
I see. So they're not really hunters. They're just setting up traps. I guess they're hunting,
Hence,
but
they're hunting and trapping. Yes.
I was thinking. I feel like there's this guy named Trapper Jones.
Who's that?
Oh, no one.
Okay. It's just a fun name you thought of? Sounds like a porno name for the Midwest. Trapper Jones.
I was thinking it was like a rapper or something.
No, so trapper is just like, usually they would get like, they were out for the skins of animals and they would go trap a bear.
Like raccoon hats and shit.
Yeah, that kind of Davy Crockett, that kind of style
Yeah.
stuff.
Would you wear a raccoon hat?
In the right setting, sure.
Yeah. I guess I'd wear any hat in the right setting.
If I was trapping, I would wear a raccoon
See, now
hat.
that sounds like you're selling drugs.
I see what you're thinking. Like the trap house. Is
Yeah.
that what you're getting at? I don't think
I
that's...
think trapping is a euphemism for selling drugs.
Put it into Urban Dictionary, trapping.
Trap in.
Is that... I've never heard that used that way. Trap in? T-R-A-P-P-I-N.
The act of dealing or selling illegal drugs in Urban Dictionary.
Okay. Well, this was a little before that.
Trapping. It's like a rap term.
Okay. I've heard...
Trapping in the Benz.
What is it? If you ain't a hoe, get up out my trap house.
Yeah, well, the trap house is more of like trap.
That's a house where you're selling drugs, I would imagine.
Of course.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
literally the drug house.
Or trapping people.
We sound so white.
Well, whatever, dude. We can't pretend. Oh yeah, I remember the trap house in Stamford, Connecticut. We didn't have a trap house.
Whoa, you're from Stamford, Connecticut.
It's not that hard to find out.
Crazy. Yeah, I mean, like, you've never heard of the word trap house
Dude,
other than that one song?
Well, just to touch on Connecticut for a second.
Little shout out to CT.
It is funny how you meet someone in New York, and at least my experience has been, you can guess with a pretty high accuracy if they're from Connecticut. Especially if they're like finance bro vest style person.
You can assume.
There's some people I've met, and I'm like, I don't know you well enough to ask, but I'm pretty sure you're from Connecticut. And then later I'll be like, Connecticut. I find out.
Yeah, because it's like
Something
the Fairfield County is a pretty easy, like,
Yes,
that
that's what Fairfield
Gold
County
Coast.
specifically.
Because honestly, Stanford's a mixed bag. Like, compared to like Greenwich, Fairfield.
It is like Greenwich, Fairfield is I guess what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
but
that's definitely Darien. You can tell. Well, if they're wearing Vineyard Vines, you know, it's pretty apparent. But
if you're in Stamford, I'll be performing there November 24th.
Hey.
At 7 p.m.
That's
at the
in
New York
12
City Comedy
days,
Club.
dude.
Yeah, man.
Let's go.
I'm pumped.
Fuck yeah.
It's the one town in the world I have a little bit of draw.
What's that day? I have it written down.
The 24th. It's the Sunday before Thanksgiving for anyone else.
Eddie's show. You
Out
see,
there.
It's in the calendar.
Yeah.
Got my dad's birthday on Friday, my grandma's birthday on Sunday. The wham bam.
Your dad's birthday Friday, your grandma's birthday Sunday. Is it your dad's mother? Or
Nope.
the other one? Okay.
My mom's mom.
Coincidence.
Just a coincidence. A lot of birthdays in November. Is that a coincidence? Or I feel like it's a popular year.
It's 9 months after Valentine's Day.
right?
Yeah.
Freaky little fucks.
Pretty lazy. These people are like, we weren't going to have you, but
It
chocolate.
was the holiday. A fucking Hallmark baby.
Enough chocolate and wine, I guess we'll have a kid.
My dad
It's
actually
very-
hated Valentine's Day. He called it a Hallmark holiday, which I think is a common phrase, but you know, I get it. But there are a lot of Hallmark holidays, and Valentine's Day is the only one where you're like supposed to be loving. My dad was like, a fucking Hallmark holiday. But I mean, like Father's Day, Mother's Day. You know, what's another Hallmark holiday? I feel like Valentine's Day is kind of the most
Black
cliche.
Friday.
That's not a Hallmark
Yeah,
holiday.
I don't know. It's a made-up one.
Like,
a lot of them, dude. All holidays.
yeah, but
I
like,
get if it's a
like
religious
Christmas,
holiday
exactly. Christmas
and
isn't
most of your country practices that religion. Then I'm like, all right, that makes sense.
like
But
Valentine's
otherwise-
Day is non-religious at all. It's literally just a day
Yeah.
for love.
Well, it is religious. No, St. Valentine's.
Yeah.
St. Valentine. It's based.
Okay.
They
fair.
tied it to Catholicism. I think it might be Hallmark, but they were like, this is why.
How many unwed sex nights happen on Valentine's Day?
What?
I said that poorly. Premarital sex is going down like crazy on Valentine's
Unwed
Day.
sex nights? And I was like, swingers evening?
I said that like
Same.
a baboon. I literally had no meaning there.
Okay, I understand. Yes. I don't think their goal in establishing Valentine's Day was to make people practice Catholicism better.
Yeah, you go
I
to
do
church
think it
on
was
that.
chocolate sales and flowers. 'Cause there are tons of saints that are cooler than that.
Like who?
Padre Pio is way cooler.
What did he do?
He could his special power was that he could be in multiple places at once.
And you think, how would we celebrate that day?
Not, I don't know, but it's Saint Valentine. I'm pretty sure just got killed for not like he didn't. There was just one of him the whole time.
Was he horny, or did he help people fall in love, or something?
We gotta look it up. We're talking about too much. Google story of Saint Valentine's Day. Story of St. Valentine.
Dude, it's just because this keyboard isn't the
A
same
little
size
different.
of my St. Valentine's Day.
Mine.
This is my Valentine's.
Mine. I was talking about this girl recently. Not about. I was talking to this girl the other day about whether or not stand-up should be considered art. And I said no, and she said yes. And then I explained why, and she goes, "Okay, well then that's what stand-up is to you." And I'm like, "No, we're all doing the same thing. It's one of these things."
Me and a lot of other fucking people.
I hate that we all have our own. No, we're all doing it. It's the same shit. Like, one of us is right.
He was presented with the judge's blind daughter and told her to restore sight. So I guess he cured a blind girl.
All right.
And then he was arrested for trying to continue to convert people to Christianity. Mm-hmm. He refused to renounce his faith and was executed outside the Flaminian Gates. However, other tales claim that he was executed a couple years later.
That's what a funny dispute.
So
okay, so that's what I mean.
Although the exact origin of the
saints.
holiday is not widely agreed upon, it's widely recognized as a day for love, devotion, and romance because he was so fucking devoted to Christ.
It's a romance between him and Christ.
Yeah, he was gay for Jesus. God bless him.
But you see what I mean? Like, fun story, I guess, but like, there are cooler saints out there.
Yeah, I mean, you know who my Gay for Jesus is a song on Spotify. Who my patrons, not my patron saint, my
Confirmation saint is your Elmo.
Correct. And you know who his
Daniels.
Well, that's
for your
no.
brother.
I said, do you know who Elmo is the saint?
Do I know who Elmo is the saint?
What is he the saint of?
Oh, no, I do not.
It's Saint Elmo's fire, and his actual name is
Oh,
Saint
I've heard of that
Erasmus.
before.
Yeah, because it's like some. Well, first of all, it's a movie.
Yeah, come on, baby, light my fire. Saint Elmo's fire.
And it was
Wait, do
basically.
you not know? Are you looking this up? This
Well,
is your
I'm gonna
saint.
read you he's the patron saint of Navy SEALs and like Coast Guard or some bullshit because of this phenomenon, which is like some. I'm supposed to memorize this luminous plasma created by the corona discharge from a rod-like object such as mast, spire,
Oh,
chimney, or
yeah.
animal horn.
All right.
So it's basically an electric field that looks like fire.
I like it.
But I wanted to be specific for you because I.
Wait, what is it around? What is it coming from?
The cause is an electric field from ionizations in the air molecules.
But it's from a horn? Like, what is it around?
It's just around ships in the ocean. Like It just
Oh.
happens out in sea.
Interesting.
And it just looks like fire. But then the movie is, I don't know, about, I think...
Probably a rom-com, if I had to guess.
I think there's another one with, like, not Ashton Kutcher, Zac Efron, and his brother, like, dies, and then he sees fire, and he, like, saves him at ship and guides him. So,
Okay.
yeah. They get a little more Disney with it.
There's a lot of fun sea tales.
I remember watching that movie and like, dude, movies sometimes get me to tear up. Like, I get so involved in the situation, and then I'm like, fuck, that's sad. But like, I know it's a movie, and I know I'm like not actually sad, but if it's a good ass movie, I'm like into it, and then I'm like, I feel for the character. Obviously, that's what they want.
What's the last movie to do that to you?
It was such a good movie. I think I might have mentioned it to you. It was Wild Robot, I think it was called.
Yeah, you did mention it.
And I went to see it with
Were you relating more to the robot or the animals in that setup?
the robot,
Okay.
100%. Did you watch it?
No, but my understanding is that he's like a robot connecting with animals.
Correct.
And like
He gets shipped to this
decides
island
to be kind to them.
by accident, and he's like, you know, the Meeksies, Rick and Morty.
Right,
That's
yeah.
or he needs a task.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of his whole shit. So he's like, give me a task, give me a task. They're all animals, so he sits for like, I don't know, 6 months, learns their language, talks to a baby duck that it was like a runt, and it just decides that's its task, take care of this duck. So then it falls in love with the duck as its child.
All right.
And it was touching. And I felt weird because I'm like tearing up watching
Because
this
you
movie.
fell in love with a duck once.
Well,
And you were like, this is just
No.
like me and Quackers.
whenever I had maybe indulged on a little bit of legally purchased marijuana from the dispensary underneath my office, which was cool. And whenever I am a little under the influence of legally purchased marijuana, I tend to get a little emotional, more emotional than I would be, especially in an animated movie, especially when there's robots involved. I don't know why, but animated robots like gets me. So I knew I was fucked, and I was watching it with my buddy, and we're in theaters, and I'm like, fuck, I'm like tearing up a little bit. I was kind of embarrassed. I look over, he was crying too. So I did feel rather vindicated, and it was a good ass movie. It was honestly a great movie. So no regrets.
Okay.
I'll cry.
Have you ever related to a movie with humans?
Yeah, first movie I ever cried when I was like young was Castaway, but I was crying in the scene where he lost Wilson, who was a volleyball. So I guess there is still a non-human fact.
And you were relating with Wilson. You're like, I'm that
No.
volleyball drifting away to sea.
I was relating to Tom Hanks, but I was thinking of my stuffed animal at the time.
I saw that movie recently.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. His wife waiting for him had no patience.
Would be crazy for him.
Well, no, I agree. It would be crazy for her to wait that long.
He's pronounced dead.
Yeah. But when you do the math on how long she waited before basically marrying this other guy, it's like 6 months. 6 months later, she's married to another dude. I watched it recently, and it was like no time at all. She's like still searching for him, and she's like getting engaged to this guy. It was.
She was not searching him.
I promise.
This is a Reddit thread that Chuck gets stuck in the island for 4 years. That's 4 years.
Yeah, but she gets married.
Kelly moves
3.5
on and gets married
years
and is
ago.
now shown with a daughter that looks 2-ish. Ooh. So yeah, I guess
9 months earlier, she's so fast. She's like, "Fuck him, new man." And the way it makes it seem like she dated this guy for a while before.
This one says it's even worse than that. The movie is 142 minutes long, with roughly 20 minutes preceding the plane crash and 20 minutes following Chuck's rescue. That means Shelley got over Chuck, married the dentist, and had a child in just over an hour and a half. Okay, I guess with 4 years, but with a 2-ish daughter.
And you assume they didn't have that child on the first date. You know what I mean? They look like a responsible couple.
Yeah, so let's say they had that child. I mean,
let's say they dated for a year before they had that child. Well, then Chuck was gone 3 months.
No.
And she's new child.
If he's stuck on the island for 4 years.
Okay, 2 years, 2-year-old child, 9 months prior.
And they announced him dead like pretty much immediately.
Okay.
So now she is sad for, let's say, a year.
No, but already 3 months later, she has to be dating this dude if they date for a year.
How? He's
2
gone
months,
for
2-year-old child plus 9 months, and then the child's being conceived. Let's assume that the child got conceived a year into dating.
She only has a 2-year-old daughter. She's not pregnant.
No, she has a 2-year-old. I understand. When he gets back, she has a 2-year-old daughter.
Correct. So
okay, so that means he's been gone for 4 years. 2 of those years, the child has been alive.
Correct.
Another 9 months, she's been pregnant with that child. So now we're at 2 years, 9 months. Let's assume that let's assume that she's a lady, and that she dated this guy for a year before she had a kid with him. Now we're at 3 years, 9 months since, and so he's gone 3 months, and she's in a committed relationship.
But they could have gotten married.
I'm pretty sure in the movie she claims she looked for 6 months. So she's dating this other guy, looking for her ex.
Maybe she got knocked up. That's fair.
Okay, but
so let's say they dated for a fucking year.
I prefer to think that she's not a hussy, but that's just me.
She's clearly a hussy.
I think she's a lady.
Wow, you're right.
She moved on quick. Very, very fast.
She moved on quick.
Yeah.
2-year-old daughter was pretty crazy.
Dude, that's so funny. I remember doing this exact math. Where I'm like, that kid looks like it's 2. And then I'm like, he's gone for 4 years, 2 years, 9 months.
15. It says under 15 months she got pregnant, basically. Yeah, that's kind of brutal. I would be bummed. But I mean, 4 years I would not. I guess I wouldn't expect her to have a kid. What ends up happening? Does she?
Dude, if you're missing for 3 months and you come back and your girlfriend's dating someone else, you're like, what the? That was 12 weeks. You're like, give me. I could. She's.
No, 6 months. 6 months.
Okay, so then in that scenario, she dated him for 9 months before conceiving a child.
Correct.
Even so, super fast for everything.
6 months would be more understandable. 2 months, 3 months, I would be like, damn.
I remember doing this math and being like, Tom Hanks deserves better.
Especially, what does he knock out his teeth? Why does he do that? Oh, he has a tooth infection?
He knocks out one of his teeth. He's got a tooth infection. And then he also hangs a stick to see if like he could hang himself. Remember, he was like testing it out.
Mm-hmm.
Which, how much info did he get from that? Like, he hangs the stick, and he's like, well, the stick is still fine. Will I be fine?
How would you, is this too morbid for YouTube, Spotify, and whatnot, but how would you unalive yourself on an island, like, confidently? That is kind of a tough one. Like, I would think jump off
If you
a
have
really
rope,
tall...
hanging is the way to do it. But his whole thing was, he was like, I don't know if this tree can hold me. But he's at the top of, like, a mile-high cliff. Surely there were other spots, you know?
Yeah, and, like...
You just have to be confident the rope will hold you.
But then if it doesn't, that sucks. That's the thing. You just don't want to severely injure yourself and then, like, be fucked.
But then you've also kind of succeeded.
Sure, but, like, you could just, like...
A little bit.
You could starve yourself, you know, you could try...
Did we talk about this last time? The One Direction member jumping off at 3 floors?
Yeah, I heard I just saw people got incriminated. In that.
Okay.
So, like, for giving him drugs, basically.
Yeah, I think we talked about it last time. But for suicide, it's like, make up your mind. 3 floors.
It's really... Batman has that...
Yeah, that's... If you hit a car, you probably live. You're like, decently fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know that scene from Batman where he's interrogating the guy?
Yeah, and he's like...
This isn't even high enough to kill me. I know.
I was like, I'm counting on it.
That's even better.
I think we had this exact combo.
No. Batman never comes up. Speaking of which, nice shirt, dude.
Thanks, you too, man.
Thanks,
I was just
man.
thinking. These are cool shirts we've got.
These
The
are
Moose
some cool
Lounge.
shirts, dude.
I
Shout
do like
out
them.
to Anne. And
Yeah.
and ChatGPT. No, it was... I don't remember which
Yeah,
AI
what'd you use
service.
to make this?
It took me a couple of tweaks, and then I did add the logo.
I was going to say, AI sucks at letters and stuff.
Yeah, no,
so
I had to
bad
print
at
that on my own. So it was a combo. Me and AI
Yeah.
tag team this thing.
But no, it's good.
Oh, you're not doing a show tonight or anything, right?
No, not tonight.
Nice.
Did you see, though, that they were... Do you hear the big thing about FEMA and the Republicans?
No.
So, remember, there recently was a hurricane that, like, devastated a bunch of states?
Yes.
North Carolina and such.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, there was a rogue FEMA advisor that informed people to not check on the houses that had Trump signs out front and told them to skip them. And so there are all these notes of the people being like, Trump signs seen, did not enter per supervisor or whatever it was. And so obviously this is craziness.
That's insane.
Yeah. And so there's tons of shit. But part of me is like, everyone else was listening to that. Like she had a bunch of, or he, I actually don't know who it was, had a bunch of people under them, and they all were like, okay. They all kind of went along with it for months.
Why wouldn't
nuts
someone
that
say
like
something?
If my boss sits like, oh, you know, smudge those statistics against Kamala supporters or whatever, like I would be like, I would immediately call the New York Times. I'm like, this is my ticket to fame. I'm going on Joe Rogan to talk about. You know what I mean?
You're getting
like,
fired though.
They
for
don't.
Sure.
They don't realize. Sure, but they don't realize that that's their ticket out of there.
I know.
Like, I've been waiting for a crazy supervisor like this.
And I just like wouldn't. How can you be a FEMA advocate and not want to help everyone?
That is strange to do.
It seems like the whole reason you'd get that job.
And it was like a little isolated thing. It was like this person and their team, but it was like her team seemed to all, because like they have a bunch of notes of them being, because they have to record each house. Mm-hmm. They're like, Trump sign seen did not enter per advisory from whatever. And
that seems really insane to be writing that down.
Well, I think they wrote it down to cover themselves.
I see.
You know what I mean? I would write, if I was doing it, I'd be like, for my fucking boss, telling me to do this.
Jeff Gold told me to do this. I mean, as soon as you get
dude,
some sort of ticket out of there,
I might go knock on the door and be like, my boss, Jeff, you just like, don't come in here.
He told me not to come because of your Trump flag. Did you see people were like booby trapping their Trump flags or their Trump signs?
Oh, I saw, I didn't know people. I saw one dude made his like electric, so you got buzzed.
Yeah. Or people were putting like spikes in them because you could just drive over with your tires. Mm-hmm. Which honestly, if I'm like driving and I would really hate, obviously I don't give a shit, but any of those candidates, it does feel incredibly tempting. Like
to just
like
yeah, dude.
like
random
do
people
nothing
on the
to your
road
car.
every once in a while. I'm like, I could just run you over.
No.
You don't get those intrusive thoughts every once?
I don't drive that much, but I remember thinking like when walking across the street, like they could have those intrusive thoughts. That's more my thought.
Oh, really?
Like, damn, they could run me over right now.
Well, here's a question. Everyone has intrusive thoughts, you know, where you're like, oh, if I just nudge this lady a little, she'd fall in front of the subway. Whatever. There must be a threshold beyond which, like, you're like, I'm having too many intrusive thoughts. I need to
They're
go
getting
live.
way too intrusive.
I need to go live in the woods before I act on one of them.
That's
you know
like
what I mean?
basically Dexter.
Yeah, but he just acts on them. He doesn't live in the end of the series. But,
Yeah, but like he acts on them in like a.
but you know what I mean? Because like I've heard lots of people talk about it. You know, you're driving and you're like, if I just went like this, it's like 10 people. You know what I mean? And so it's like, at a certain point, you're like, this is my 7th thought about murdering a group of people today. Maybe I should leave
Do you
society.
think the answer to that is more Grand Theft Auto or less Grand Theft Auto?
Oh, like stopping it from happening? I think if it's happening, I think you have a little bit of a duty to go be a hermit in the woods.
Or just play Grand Theft Auto? Like,
Oh, to take it out on them.
yeah, like a
I thought you were
really
saying,
immersive
like,
Grand Theft Auto.
I thought they were saying like they played Grand Theft Auto and they're like, this is how it works in the real world.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is the issue they aren't playing enough Grand Theft Auto to get their urges out, or they've played too much Grand Theft Auto and now that's all they are thinking of?
I don't know. I tend to not think it's video games or anything. Like I don't think that.
I don't think they're helpful.
Yeah.
I love video games, obviously, and
Because the more video games you play, the less dangerous you are as a person.
no, you get like,
Yeah, unless you're operating a drone, yeah.
but like shooting guns and like that is what makes you dangerous, not like getting physical.
But it doesn't make you good at shooting guns.
No, but it gives
Yeah.
you like the
That's what I mean.
sure.
The dangerous guy is the one who's like, I'm going to slaughter so many people, and he starts training for it. I mean, he's like doing push-ups, and
do you
he's
really
like,
think you
he's
need
like
to be-
simulating a post office or whatever.
You think
Like,
you need to be dangerous to do any damage with a gun? Like I think you
not
just
any, but to do lots. Yeah, you need to be good at it.
I don't think so. I'm talking about like, God forbid, a school and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like that's where I feel like you don't need to be. That's the whole point. They're all other kids. Like they don't know what to do either.
You could do. I'm not saying you would do no damage. Man, I should not have been drinking so much before I talk about school shooting. But I'm saying that the difference between someone who played a lot of video games and then just bought a gun and did it versus someone that trained would be huge.
I agree. But
So
like,
that's my point.
the person that trains is also playing Call of Duty. Is what I'm saying. Because it's
Okay.
like they're into the whole
Well, it's
situation.
a different scenario. You're operating the assumption that Call of Duty causes all school shootings.
No, but I just don't think it.
I think you
I don't
could
think
do.
it helps. Like, Grand Theft Auto definitely doesn't help. Not school shootings per se, but just like violence in general. It's so immersive, and when you're a kid, like my parents did not want us playing shooting games, and I get it. They're rated a rating for a reason. Like they're not meant for kids, but kids just get their hands on
Yeah,
them.
the reason is like some weird. But you know what I mean? Like you could read the most awful.
Well, like my parents, I remember justifying Halo to my parents because we were like, "Mom, we're shooting aliens. It's fine." And she was like, "All right, I'm cool with Halo. Like they're shooting like lasers and aliens." But she was not cool with Call of Duty because it's like you're shooting a human. And Grand Theft Auto was like,
But if
you
you're
go
like-
to the strip club.
Could you sell it? You're like, no, this is the World War II. We're on the Allies side.
Mom, we're killing Nazis.
The Nazis. You gotta like, you get into an argument with her about World War II.
Oh, so you don't want your son killing Nazis? You want
Yeah.
him on the side of Nazis?
Oh, you think they're just following? Is that it, Mom? They're just following orders?
Good people on both sides. Okay. No, I got where she was coming from, to be honest. I still got my hands on the game. Like,
Yeah.
I remember someone's mom bought it for me. And do you remember buying like R-rated or what was it, M-rated games at GameStop, and the fucking cashier would be like, to your parent or whomever, ma'am, are you aware that this game is rated M for sex, drugs, violence, terrorism, like abusing parental figures?
and then the sex is like, it's like a girl in a bikini with square pixelated boobs. Like it's never a lot of sex. You never see a nipple. You
No,
know?
Grand Theft Auto, you got nip.
Did you? Oh, that's some of the strip. You could go to the strip clubs.
Oh yeah. I remember my Xbox cooking. The strip club's about to be crazy in Grand Theft Auto 6.
When does it come out?
Next Christmas.
Next Christmas.
Not this Christmas, next.
This was my big plan. I bought a bunch of stock in the company.
Rockstar?
Well, there's a company that owns Rockstar, but yes. And I was like, when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, I'm gonna be rich. But this was like almost a year and a half ago.
Take-Two.
Yeah, that's it. Take-Two.
Let's see.
But yeah, so that was my big plan. But then I'm like, wow, this was a way more long-term plan than I thought.
They're really up the past since. I mean, I guess everything.
This is just the election. Everything's been up.
Dude, crypto is
Crazy.
Let's see. What is Bitcoin at 90,000? You think?
It's very close. It was at 88 last I looked.
87. No. Fuck. Sell it all. You know what else was up? I own still a bunch of Dogecoin. No way, it's at 40 cents. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, dude, oh wait. On my way here, I was walking, and I swear to God, I heard some girl talking at the bar, and she was like, "Did you see Dogecoin? I've made $2,000." And this is what she was talking about.
I told you, I don't know, 3-4 years ago maybe, I bought $25 worth of Bitcoin. I bought 10,000 Bitcoin for, it was like 0.02 cents. And when it was at 70, it was $7,000. So this is good. We like this. We like Dogecoin.
Yeah, dude.
That was how I dipped my toe into the crypto game. It's fun.
Oh, dude, I went and looked at my.
I'll probably never sell ever. I'll just be that guy
until Dogecoin is the global standard currency.
It's like you have one Doge, you're like dollar. You're a Russian czar with like a couple Doge, and I'll just have 10,000 never sold.
Dude, I might be. I was looking at my FanDuel account recently. Mm-hmm. What is like your lifetime? If you had to, I don't know if you've tracked it precisely. If you had to guess at your lifetime sports betting profit, what would it be?
I don't have to guess. I can tell you
You've done it all in the same app.
FanDuel has it. Oh yeah, I mean.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know how long you've been doing it. Whatever.
I've pretty much exclusively bet through FanDuel.
Are you up or down?
I think I'm up.
Okay, nice, dude.
But because UConn has been pretty lucrative, if I'm being honest. Because you can, I think you can check it. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming
it tells you if the difference between amount bet and amount won.
Where is it in your activity statement?
Activity statement, yeah.
Activity.
Like I said, I was drinking before this.
Oops.
And you change the date range to
the J range.
The J range to forever.
November 2022. I guess that's when I started.
Not apply or whatever that says.
And the sports book. What? Played versus won?
Oh, wait, so, amount played versus amount won.
I'm up pretty good.
No, you're down.
Amount played,
$330. Oh, wait, no, I'm looking at casino. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, fuck the casino.
Oh, yeah, you're down in casino. Oh, so you have a bunch, so it's actually hard to tell which one.
No, sportsbook.
Okay, but you've lost some money in casino.
I've lost $200 in casino.
And you made $3,000 almost in sportsbook. And what's the other one on the end? Oh, it's total.
It's just total.
Oh, so that's what matters. Okay. Yeah. So look at total. Nice, dude. So yeah, that's pretty good.
So
you're up 20% roughly, lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's including the casino. What if we just did sportsbook? Because casino, I'm silly.
Sportsbook, you're up like 40%, roughly 40%.
Okay.
Give or take. That's pretty good.
What's the algo?
Well, here's.
Can you fill them in?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you. I deposited $75 into FanDuel for March Madness when I built the model to predict the March Madness outcome.
Oh, hell, the model.
I only bet on one game in the first round, an upset for JMU, which was successful. That netted me a bunch of money because it was my first FanDuel bet. That's very fun. Let me finish this. Anyway. Flash forward to today, I've made that $75 is now $530.
Wow.
So why? If I had known that, if I had put all my money into that, I would have. You know what I mean?
Stop it right now. You can't. Of course it's.
But that's a crazy percentage.
Yeah, but in such a
That's
small
more than 5
sample,
times.
dude. That's such a small sample.
What do you mean?
Like, you've only played a couple of weeks. That could, how many games
No,
did you bet?
sure. Number of bets.
How many bets is that across?
Like 30.
30?
Something like that.
No way.
I did 1 week where I placed a bet on every single game.
For how much?
I used the Kelly criterion.
I never mind.
So there's a formula for the amount you should bet of your pot for a given bet based on the probability that it will be successful and the odds provided. And I have the probability because of the model, and so I can use this. And so I just use the Kelly bet.
You should talk to John. He loves this shit.
Really?
Dude, this is his like bread and butter.
I would love to talk to John.
Oh my god.
Maybe I'll call him.
He's
about
gonna
it.
jizz all over
It's
himself.
gotten me excited. It's fun, especially because it's been working so well. Like I'm like, fuck, I'm into this now.
We can end and then go to jokes after because I think we're getting close to an hour. Yeah, we're 45 minutes. Okay.
Why are you showing the Trump, Elon Musk, whatever?
It just came up.
What did it say?
It's Elon.
I didn't
is
read it.
6'2" next to Trump, apparently 6'3", and Elon is
But
trumping him. And
also, Trump's old. My dad used to be 6'2". Now he's like 5'10".
yeah, I think my dad shrunk a bit.
Yeah.
My cousin, who will not be named, love him to death, and he wouldn't even care. No, other one, Joseph.
Oh. My cousin who's been named recently.
He's been recently named. He was hanging out in Miami with us this weekend, and we went to the casino, and he was spending money fairly loosely at the casino, if I will. And I wanted to just have you guess what you think the most expensive hand of blackjack was that he played.
Of blackjack?
A single hand.
Your cousin Joseph.
Jojo.
What's his Instagram handle?
Yeah, no more than Joe.
His most expensive? I know he made a lot of money in crypto. Like 10 grand?
In a hand of blackjack?
I don't know.
No.
What's normal? What is it?
It was $1,500, and I was freaking out.
Oh, okay.
But 10 grand is crazy.
I'm imagining him much richer than maybe he is
Yeah.
in my head.
I guess so.
I'm like, obviously billionaire.
No. He's just he's more of a gambling addict than he's rich. He was being ridiculous. I love him, but I wanted to drag him out of this casino. It was crazy. He was obsessed. Like I thought it was funny at first, and then we were there for 5 hours, and he was like, "One more shoe." It's like, okay, dude. John and I were looking at him, and we were like, "I'm gonna grab his chips. You grab him."
Does he work right now, or is he just?
He's kind of chilling right now.
Just chilling. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would go insane too.
He's gonna work soon. I mean, he's
I
got a
would
good
be-
mindset.
I would be a gambling addict.
Probably.
I had no job.
Yeah, he's
And I stopped
definitely
stand-up.
just loving life. And dude, it was really fun. He was such a good host. We might have, like I said, visited the adult entertainment club, but it was 11 in Miami. I was told it was a nightclub. I couldn't believe
you were
what I saw when I
tricked.
got in there.
Fooled.
But Friday night we went with Casey and Christiana because they were down there as well. They'd never been to a strip club. These are my friends that are engaged. Christiana was like really excited to go. She was a little drunk, and it's like for anyone who doesn't know, it's
wait,
like
can I guess? Like she's not that happy once she's there.
Oh, you are wrong.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'll show you.
But like, was like Casey allowed to get?
Oh, well, so if for those who don't know, it's 11 is a nightclub in Miami. That's like I say nightclub, but it's basically a half nightclub, half strip club. So it's pretty fun unanimously. Like there are a lot of women there, not as strippers, like way more than any other strip club.
And the name of the club is based on the age of the women.
No,
Oh.
that would be inappropriate. There's like a stage in the middle of like the dance floor, and there are girls there with a pole, and there are kind of chairs like around, and you only sit in the chairs if you're using money. And we had a stack of singles, and we put Christiana in the chair, shoved her close, and I just handed her probably like $50 in singles, and she was like, no. We're like, Tina, go crazy. And girls like the girls were way more excited to see Christiana than the gaggle of guys around the table. Yeah. and they were being like, "Oh, you're so beautiful," and Cristiano was like, "No, you're so beautiful." Like they were like, and so first Cristiano was really gentle, like putting the money like really. And the girls were like, "You gotta get it in there, girl." So she started getting like kind of aggressive. Gracie and her fiance, were cracking up. He got this pretty funny picture. She was loving it, and she turned around, had the biggest smile on her face, like. All was good. It was a really fun time. They were there for probably like, I don't know, 2.5 hours, and we paid $120 to get in per person, which is kind of crazy. But then when we got in, like an hour in, we got in like 2 o'clock. Marshmello came out, and he was the DJ. And we're like, oh, I would pay $100 to see Marshmello. So I felt way more better about that. And then Cristiano had a great time. Mm-hmm. It was a blast. But then JoJo may or may not have gotten a dance for an hour, and we were ready to leave at 4, and we did not leave till 5 because that dance went from 4 to 5. And he came out with the most classic.
Like you went into a private room.
Yes, he was, and he was like, okay. "Dude, she said she never says this, but I was her type," and I'm like, "Oh," we were like, "Dude," he's like, "She wants to get drinks," and I'm like, "Yeah."
I guess you throw enough money at her, and maybe she's sincere.
And she's like, all of a sudden, you are my type.
Yeah. Well, that's like, you ever hear Cat Williams do his little rant about strip clubs? It's really funny, dude.
I think so.
He's like, you go in there and like, you're throwing bills at these girls. I go in there, I offer her a salary. She comes and she works for me now. It's so funny, dude. I give her a life. It's just like the way he talks is like he goes into a strip club and just adopts some of the girls and takes them with him.
I mean, that's the thing. It was fun. The club. I didn't got it like that. So I did feel very like. You're just constantly like, no, thank you. I don't want to dance. I can't afford to dance. And I imagine if you have unlimited money, it's probably fun, but it still has to get just, it feels so fake, you know? It is fake, obviously. Mm-hmm. Like it's not fake. It's just not, can't be sustainable to go to a strip club all the time. Some people love it.
You make enough money. What do you mean sustainable?
Just like for your, like, emotions, at least that strip club, they're really like all over you, and you feel so good. You're like, wait, but I know it's not. They just are looking for. But I'm all for strippers. Like I'm very pro stripper, obviously, because I appreciate them on a bachelor party or whatever, like something where it's fun. It's supposed to be like a vacation item. I think that people that go to strip clubs,
people, Brian.
No, it's they're
vacation people.
They make good money, and I wish I could.
Not vacation items.
They're vacation people. Apologies to the stripper community. I love you, ladies and men. Let's go, male strippers. Fuck you.
Just right. Stripper is fine.
Before we get canceled, let's move on to our jokes. We're at 55 minutes, and we have some behind the scenes Moose Lounge credits. We actually have 2 B-rolls for this.
Do we? Oh, we do. From our tests. I was like, what are you talking about? We have to mix these up somehow.
Mike Stan went crazy this week.
Pretty obvious who's our who's. Let's just...
Well, what if we, like... I don't think it's obvious. Oh, it's pretty obvious.
It's pretty obvious.
Let's just catch him.
Okay.
Ready?
Oh, dude, I hate that that's on camera. That was the most awkward shit
ever. It kind of worked out, though.
You got all of them. I got 2.
3.
Give me 1. You got 4.
You have 4? You have 2.
Oh, there's 1 over here.
I only have 3. Yeah, we probably look lame as hell.
Yeah, dude, that is not something that's gonna look cool in the end. All right.
You want to go first?
My dog passed away a few months ago, and we're still pretty broken up about it. Yeah, I mean, he was super old, but he just really wanted to go in that submarine. That's funny, joke.
That was a good one.
That's a good joke.
That was the one when Mike wrote it. I was like, I laughed.
Wait, Mike wrote it? Oh, Mike wrote it. For a second, I was like, in my head, I'm like, Mike Seminye. They hanging out?
We gotta stop doxing our friends.
You know, from the Ukraine.
I think we've literally done this joke before, but I have joint custody. That's fucking right. These elbows are mine. And these knees and these ankles.
We have done that joke before, but it was lost to the edit.
One of the many
Yes.
edit losses. Ooh, I just hit the camera.
I ride my bicycle a lot, and when I lock it up, I use a U-lock, which means every day I have to decide if I want to keep the tire or the frame.
It's a New York City classic right
That
there.
is New York City classic.
From
Shall I go while you read that?
no, can you just maybe help me decipher what? Want to read it? Nah, I don't
Oh,
want
it's fine.
What? It's the only thing keeping
Those
those what?
birds
From.
coming.
Okay.
We're back.
And we're back.
If someone with their volume all the way up is gonna hear a lot of that joke before it actually gets out there.
Thank God for the letter H in the word pheasant, because it's the only thing keeping those birds from becoming poor fucking commoners.
Peasants.
Pheasants?
Well, they're
To peasants.
to peasants
I
if they
see.
lose the H.
Yes.
That's the only thing stopping them. All right. Some people don't like the idea of going to the casino as their vacation, but I actually think it's the perfect way to get a week's worth of money, drinks, and cigarettes lost, earned. Oh, fuck. Mike Stan, I think, had a stroke as he wrote this and decided to
Add some words.
He's like, you know what? These lines on the page mean nothing. Shall.
You could have probably gone with it as is, and it.
Well, because the next sentence was lost, earned, consumed. Let me try that again. Some people don't like the idea of going to the casino as their vacation, but I actually think it's the perfect way to get a week's worth of money lost, drinks earned, and cigarettes consumed all in one night.
Yeah. Is it a good? Is there potential?
It sounds like you're just saying this is like this is like what the real boring dude says when he goes to his younger friend's bachelor party in Vegas, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm looking to get a week's worth of money lost spent tonight, sir." Yeah, it's very. I wouldn't call it novel stand-up comedy. It's more like rote dad joke in Vegas. If I had to put it somewhere.
Because you read it like a fucking.
I read it. I took it line by line. I didn't know you were switching it up halfway through. He's got for money lost. He has
Mike wrote this.
Mike has money for money lost. He has money on the top line and lost on the bottom line, and the same thing for drinks earned and cigarettes consumed.
At least
so
he was consistent.
It reads money, drinks, cigarettes, lost, earned, consumed.
At least he was consistent.
I guess. Yeah, or more like, yeah, at least. What this means is that he didn't notice it after doing it 3 times.
No, it meant he wrote it and then went back and added those. Wow. Well, at least we're laughing. I recently learned that you get a 15-minute break every 2 hours if you smoke cigarettes at my new job. Mm-hmm. So I have started smoking crack at work, and I think that's going to get me at least a half hour. Maybe 45 minutes.
That's funny.
Maybe.
Is that your third one?
That was my third one.
What did you do? You did joints and that one? What was the other one?
Something that I couldn't read about dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Pheasants.
Well, nice. That's the Moose Lounge.
Yeah, we had some smooth rhymes
And good times.
here at the Moose Lounge.
I think
Thanks,
that's
everyone.
Our latest one ever.
I mean, we're about 10
The
seconds
last
before the
thing.